Ladies and gentlemen, how you doing? Welcome to another episode of Sleepers for Billionaires, the podcast. I am your host, Johnny Vegas. And today I got a special guest on my show. This man is an author. He hosts his own podcast alongside Dane Dash. Has the book out right now, Secret to Ballin', along with Culture Vultures. Ladies and gentlemen, Kingyatta Griggs.
What's up, bro?
What's going on, my brother?
Good. Thank you for having me.
Oh, man, thank you for coming, yo. It's a
Anytime.
blessing to have you, man. I've been watching your work for a long time, man. It's crazy, you know, and I sit there and I listen to what you guys have to say on your podcast, and it's very interesting. And just to have you on my podcast, and also you're hosting your own podcast. It's pretty dope. Yeah. I think today might be a bit interesting. You know what I'm saying?
Definitely. Man.
You know, now you're on the other side instead of interviewing people. You get to be interviewed.
I'm all for it, man. This is dope. Thank you for having me.
No problem, man. No problem, man. So tell me, where'd you get your start, man? I mean, did you start as an author? Did you start with the podcast? Like, where did you get your start?
Well, rewinding before the podcast and also being an author, you know, I was a barber.
Okay.
I'm a barber by trade, so that was really how it was my bread and butter. And what I did was I started cutting entertainers in the business, from music to just all forms of entertainment, cutting different people, from my cuts being precise, you know, people seeing someone that I've cut, and then they connected me with other people, like it connected me with Dame and the crew from Rockefeller back in the day. And, you know, I kept doing it. I owned my own salon since I was like 21 years old.
Wow, congratulations, bro.
For a good 17 years I owned it, and I got up out of there because, you know, barbering was like something I did and something I was just good at. But my true love, you know, had always been writing. So...
Writing music or just writing?
No, writing in general.
Okay.
You know, writing books, writing ideas for shows, movies, whatever it may be. But you know, I've been writing for a long time, but that's always been my passion, writing and speaking. And so what I did was I got to a point where barbering wasn't fulfilling that inner feeling that I needed to fulfill, which was my love, the passion. And, you know, I tell people all the time, like in a lot of my work, is that you have to follow what it is you truly love to do. Now, what you're good at, you know, if it brings in profits, it can be a little tricky to you because you think that that's the end-all, be-all to your life. Because you're making money. You can be making $100,000 to $1 million a year off of something you're good at, but it's not really fulfilling you. It's not giving you that inner, that it's not
satisfaction.
That inner satisfaction you need, you know what I'm saying, that keeps you thriving and keeps you focused on your purpose. And, you know, where people get around you and they're like, damn, you know, this man is on his purpose. Right. You know, and when you get on your purpose, it's a different feeling than just doing something that you're good at.
No, totally I totally agree with that, bro. Like, I didn't really figure out what my purpose was until I kind of analyzed what I've been doing up to this point. You know, I've been pushing the music dream and pushing the film game and stuff, but then I realized when I got to LA, started acting and started growing as an artist and an individual, I started realizing, like, hold on, I've been writing my whole life. I've been writing music. I've been writing ideas for this show. I've been, you know, but I always incorporated it to something else, never to just simplifying things and just write. Write a movie and then do what you need to do to build what you just wrote on top of that, like talk to directors and go to those meetings and do the pitches and get the agents and stuff like that. So, you know, it's crazy how, like, I had to see what it was I was doing to find my purpose in life and then kind of meet the two.
And what you probably saw from that, to chime into what you're saying, is that everything else began to fall into place. So, like I tell a lot of brothers, and this is off the record, but like, including when you're dealing with a young lady, you know, women are intrigued and more in tune when a man has his passion in front of him. See, when your passion, when you're going after your purpose and you have that passion and that desire, to the ambition to accomplish your purpose, you know, it seems as if a woman is more in tune with that than a man that's just doing something because he's good at it. Right. You know, I mean, of course, who doesn't like a lot of great money and different things? We all understand that, but it's something about when you love doing what you're doing. You know what I'm saying? The energy and the vibration of that attracts a lot of wonderful people to you. That's and it does keep things in line. It makes other things fall into place as well. Right. So, you know, for me, to everybody listening, is this: really follow your purpose. You know, go after your purpose. Don't go after money. Money's going to come, you know, because as you develop and as you begin to get good at anything you're doing, you know, money is inevitable. It's going to come. It's going to happen.
That's a fact.
You know, and then you figure out different ways of, you know, eating off of what it is you love. But I wouldn't do that right off. I would just focus on achieving your purpose. Keep that purpose in front of you.
Yeah.
You know.
That's a fact. You know what's crazy? Another thing that made me realize that was when I saw the Notorious movie and that conversation that Diddy had with Biggie when he was like, don't chase the money, chase the dream. When I first saw it, I didn't understand what he meant.
Absolutely.
You know what I'm saying? Then, you know, after later on in life, after reading books like The Secret and Laws of Attraction, all that stuff, I started realizing that, you know, if you chase something that you love and you get good at it, it eventually will bring forth the wealth that you seek. You know, but don't focus on just the wealth, because that'll take you anywhere. You know what I'm saying? It'll take you into the streets, take you anywhere. You know what I'm saying? But if you focused on that goal,
and that's a real thing. You know, like the law of attraction is a real law. You know, there are 7 principles that hold the world down, and they're called the 7 Hermetic principles. And the law of attraction just happens to be an infant of one of the major laws, which is the law of correspondence connected to the law of vibration. Really, it's the law of vibration because, you know, the way you feel means everything to what you attract.
Right.
So however you feeling about whatever it is you're doing is truly the magnetic force that brings things to you.
Right.
So the more you focus on something, the faster things come to you. The least amount of focus you give to something, the slower it takes for you to accomplish that thing.
Yeah.
So, you know, and that's where the law of attraction comes from. So, like I say, man, I tell a lot of people, man, just if anything else, you know, get into the laws of the universe. You know, you don't really have to read so many different books if you just understand natural law.
Right.
Once you get natural law, no matter what religion you believe, no matter what you follow, everything will fall into place once you understand natural law.
Right.
There's nothing above natural law.
No, I agree. I mean, positive thoughts breed positive outcome, and the opposite. You know what I'm saying? Right. So I'm all for it.
And it's 7 principles. You know, the first principle is mentalism. You know, and in that principle states that the mind is all, the all is mind, and everything in the universe is mental. So if you stick and you stay on that one definition of the law of mentalism, and you just keep going over it and start paying attention to what's going on around you, that's the answer to all questions.
Right.
That's the solution to everything.
Right.
Understanding that the mind is all and the all is mind. What is the all? Some people call it God. Some people call it source energy. Some people call it Allah. Some people, whatever you might want to call it, just understand that the God force is within you, not without you. So once you get that into your movement, what happens is you start learning that things become easier, because then you start understanding focus. You start understanding resolve, which is to keep going no matter what's in front of you.
Right.
See, when you have that principle, understanding of that principle, it's easy for things to come to you, because then you start taking in the right seeds that'll get you, that'll bring forth the manifestation you're looking for.
Right. You know what's crazy? It's like that logic is also applied in the Bible when it talks about the 3 dimensions of, first is God, then there's man, then there's God and man together, which is the 3rd dimension. You know what I'm saying? And it's crazy how
the triunity, yeah, they call it the Son, the Father, and the Holy Ghost.
Exactly.
Right.
So it's like, but it's crazy how that same logic is applied just with different wording, but it's like how it came from the origin, but everybody's just applying the different
and those
tactics.
laws came before the Bible and before the Quran and all that stuff. So you know, like the story of Jesus is the story of Heru, which is out of ancient Kemet, which is now known as Egypt. So if you go study Heru and Osiris and Isis being the mother, being Mary, which is the mother, Mary's the mother of Jesus. Right. So you start studying these things, and then you start learning that, you know, it's all relative and it's all connected. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But natural law is something that is on the walls of the pyramids, and you know, it didn't have a business plan up there. It didn't have a family plan. It had a plan for you to know thyself, which is the most important thing, man. It's just, you know, like just becoming more selfish with your time, with your energy, where you put your attention, things begin to fall into place for you. It's an art to being selfish. I'm not talking about the immature selfish where you're just a taker.
Yeah.
You know, in order to be a great giver and to become selfless, you have to first become selfish, because I can't give you something that I'm not giving myself. You know, so it's like someone coming to borrow money from you. How can you really give them what they're asking for unless you have it to give.
Right.
So first I tell people to fill their own cups up.
Right.
And that's what being selfish is. But selfish is a bad word to a lot of people because, we've been taught that selfish, when you hear selfish, that's a bad thing.
It's like they just for themselves.
But in actuality, if you look up the prefix ish, and the word self and ish means about or of. Mm-hmm. So you're about or of the self.
Right.
And that's where you want to be. You want to become more focused on becoming a giver than a taker. Mm-hmm. And being selfish in the right way, the healthy selfish, is how you become an automatic giver.
Sounds like you just came up with your next book, bro.
Well, yeah, that's something I'm working on. Yeah, something I'm working on called, it's The Art of Selfish. And that's a tentative title right now, by the way. But I've just been doing a lot more studying on what it really takes to really achieve a higher level of things.
Right.
And it's not all about achievement of money or things or anything material. It's really based around getting to the level where you're truly happy. Mm-hmm. You accept who you are, you love who you are. And when you begin to accept who you are and you love who you are, you begin to put out the vibration to people around you, and they feed off that. And they can actually, people will start mimicking you and start getting into themselves and accepting their body.
Right.
Because you can't really, like right now, I'm on a heavy focus of working out and a heavy workout, a weight. Getting rid of goal, not a weight loss, because to lose something means you're going to find it again, and I'm not going back to find that.
Right.
And so it's just once you get focused, it's like you actually teach people through your own movement, and I'm a believer in that. So it's like motivation is through my own movement. So I'm constantly trying to focus on doing things in accordance with accomplishing that goal that I'm reaching for, which is losing 100 pounds.
That's what's up. Where you at now from when you started?
Well, right now, I've spent about 3 weeks. I've taken off over like 15 pounds.
That's what's up.
So
more power to you.
Yeah. So it's just it's like anything else, man. It's just staying focused on what it is you truly want to do, and that's what brings forth happiness. Because there's a lot of unhappy people out here, man.
That's a fact, man. I think it's just the way they look at the world, man. If they just kind of switch their perspective on things, man, and keep doing what they're doing, I think everything will be all right, man.
Right.
So, what's the secret to balling to you?
Well, the secret of balling, again, is based around happiness. It's based on you going after your purpose. Mm-hmm. It's not based on you just focusing on making money and material items. And the name itself throws people off because it says balling. Mm-hmm. And I did that on purpose because naturally to the common mind, when they hear the word balling, they're thinking money, they're thinking riches, they're thinking jewelry, they're thinking cars.
What they see in rap videos.
Exactly. Mm-hmm. But what it really is about that inner joy. Mm-hmm. See, when you have inner joy, what happens is things begin to fall into place regardless. Mm-hmm. Because then your conscious mind, the things that you see around you no longer are being taken to the left or to the right by the ups and downs of life. Mm-hmm. You're no longer being just pulled left or right, becoming excited if things are good, becoming depressed if things are bad. Mm-hmm. You become an observer of what's going on in front of you, and you have a balance of emotion. And that's the law of rhythm, which is one of the 7 principles connected to the law of mentalism I told you about.
Yeah. The
pendulum swing. And so the whole story with Jesus walking on water, as you've probably heard the story of Jesus walking on water, is connected to the law of rhythm.
Okay.
The ups and the downs are in equal proportion.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So once you become an observer of the things going on instead of a reactor, your life will become better.
At what point in your life did you begin thinking like this? Because I know something had to happen, or just a chain of events had to take place to where you just basically woke up.
Yeah, some things did take place, but I've always had knowledge of self, and I think that I've gathered the information I've gathered from having knowledge of self at different levels. In school, I wasn't really so much focused on school other than the basic knowledge on how to, read and write, mathematics and things like that. But I've always found myself drawn to further knowledge, the so-called hidden knowledge that the average person is not aware of. But what really turned my life around is when I first started the company Hip Hop Motivation. The day I came up with the concept for Hip Hop Motivation, including my first project, Think and Ball Out, I was shot 6 times.
Wow.
Matter of fact, what's funny is we're downtown, about literally probably like 5 minutes away from here. Is where I got shot, like up the street.
Yeah.
Guy came out and just started shooting me down. And
sorry to hear that, man.
laying
that
there,
sucks.
it was a beautiful thing that occurred because it pushed me into a different paradigm. At first, you know, it was unfortunate going through that feeling or whatever, but as I began to observe what took place in what was taking place, I began to understand a lot of things, you know, like procrastination was something that I was used to doing, putting things off until tomorrow, but and that may have been even telling my loved ones how I felt about them.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Being more in tune with my children, hollering at my mother because she's here. And in that situation, I became a doer instead of a person that procrastinates and puts things off for the next day.
Yeah.
Because I was laying on the ground looking at no more tomorrows.
Right.
And so in that, I began to understand a lot of different things. I stopped taking things for granted.
Right.
You know, and that's what I see more than anything else with most people is that they take things for granted and think that it's just supposed to be given or tomorrow's promised.
Right.
And so they lead their lives like that, and then when tomorrow's not promised.
Yeah, there's an old saying, man. It's like death always. It's sad that death is what mostly put life in perspective. Absolutely. You know what I'm saying? It sucks that's true because we have the opportunity to put life in perspective without going through those near-death situations. You know, but
it's like what would pleasure be without pain, and what would pain be without pleasure? Right. I mean, you know, that's another law within the 7 called the law of polarity. Everything has a pole. Everything has its opposites. Right. Masculine and feminine. Right. Nothing works without without polarity. Exactly. This camera doesn't work without the balanced wires of masculine and feminine coming together to bring forth recording. Right. These lights don't work without it. Right. The car doesn't work without it. If you pop your hood, you know, you see your battery has a red wire and a black wire. That's masculine and feminine. Right. Our brains, ourselves, don't work in balance without right brain, left brain, masculine and feminine principle within us. Right. So everybody's an androgynous being, mentally and spiritually as well as physically. We just are not in tune with it. And I think that for our people, you know, especially with black people, all people, but black people mainly, is that we have to get back into natural law principles. We have to study that and live by that and understand what we're really doing when we're doing it. Right. Because what happens is we become breakers of the law. And to break the law is a transgression. That means I've taken something from you. All forms of transgressions of the law are forms of theft. Right. If I shoot you and kill you, I have taken your life. Right. If I beat you up and took you out of feeling good in your body temple, I have taken your ability to feel good within your body. Your confidence and all that, yeah. I rape a woman, I have taken her body. Right. So they're all forms of theft, and we have to get back into these things and live by these principles. Right. You know, living by principle. The word principle comes from the word principia, which means chief, necessary. It's chief and it's necessary. Right. No, that makes perfect sense, man. I'm just trying to figure out how can we get everybody in the same accord to follow these principles, you know, and... Great question. Yeah, I mean, that's a great question, but, you know, at the same time, you're not going to move everybody in the same direction. You know, there's a small amount of conscious people. It's never worked. We saw it with Malcolm X. We saw it with Elijah Muhammad with the Nation of Islam. We saw it with King on some aspects. But it's not really for you to get everybody in the line. It's for you as an individual to apply these things to yourself and understand that there will be people within your cipher that will check you out and will see you moving in accordance with natural law. And then you'll be able to build on it with the people that are watching you. Because people will ask you what's going on. How did you achieve success? Right. How did you do these different things within your relationship, friendship, whatever it may be? When you know natural law, it makes everything around you that much better. Yeah, it seems like all you can do is lead by example and have faith, and then once those see your success and all that, then you can share the information. Absolutely. That's the power. The power is in the faith. It's in the belief. Right. You know what I'm saying? Because You know, as I say in my project, your belief in yourself is your belief in God, and your belief in God is also your belief in yourself.
Right.
So once you understand that, and you understand these lessons, and you get deep into understanding these principles, understanding those 7 principles that apply to everything. It's inevitable. You can't name something that these principles don't apply to.
That's a fact. That's a fact.
Yeah.
So why are you the hip hop motivator?
Well, like I said, the day I came up with the concept to do hip hop motivation, it was based around because I love to read. I love audiobooks. And, you know, back in the day when I go out with my homeboys and I would forget to pop the CD out, they would get in my car and be like, this nigga listening to some white people. And it sounded corny, and we on our way to the club, so I had to hurry up and get the CD out. And so it's always been something that was on my mind to create a project that we're saying the same thing as them, but with our energy behind it. You know, maybe over a certain type of beat. Maybe, you know, just the slang I'm using when I'm saying what I'm saying.
Right.
You know, it's like, it's just a different vibration, a different rhythm. And I came up with the name Hip Hop Motivation. And I said, I actually wrote down that I wanted to be a self-help company from a hip hop perspective, something that helps the culture of hip hop, because in a lot of senses, the culture of hip hop being that it has a different polarity of entertainment coming out of hip hop. Some of it's good to some people, some of it's bad to some people.
Right.
You know, and I'm not really one on what's good and what's bad,
right,
because all of it's relative.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Because you can't have pleasure without pain.
Right.
You know, and you
Makes
can't
sense.
have pain without pleasure. So you need both of them. You
Right.
need that gangster rap. You need people to understand that reality that's going on in the hood. You know what I'm saying? You don't need people to live by that and act on it in that way, but you're not going to stop it anyway, because it's always going to be a balance of light and dark.
Right.
And the darkness is really where the most potential lies.
Yeah.
You know, when you're in the darkness represents ignorance. You know, it could be the darkness of not knowing how to act at first. You be an actor. You were in the dark once upon a time on what goes on sets.
Yeah.
And now that as you proceed and you keep moving along your journey, it's like those lights that you turn up, and the light slowly gets brighter and brighter. It's the same principle.
Right.
That you're now going into the light, where once upon a time you were in the dark on how it works.
Right.
And so my whole aim with people that are in the hood and just all over the world is just for them to understand that, embrace that darkness. Embrace that darkness, because the darkness holds the most potential.
Right.
And the most potential means you're going into the light. When you're already in the light, you're in the light.
Exactly.
But the darkness says that, okay, I'm ignorant in this way or that way. Let me move forward and let me educate myself or become better and greater so I can go into the light.
I like that, man.
Yeah.
To be honest, that first sentence you said when I asked you why you're the hip hop motivator, it's called a self-help company from a hip hop perspective. That is a great mission statement for that. You know, I thought you was gonna say a self-help book. When you said company, it's like, damn, you're taking it beyond audiobooks and stuff, man.
Right.
When did you fall in love with hip hop? Like, was there a song?
Shit,
was there an
man,
era?
that's a great question too, man. And I talk about it all the time. My children probably get tired of me talking about hip hop, but I've always loved, like, I'm gonna say, like, real talk, early 80s, man, when I heard Jam On It, and, you know, being in LA, and you know, LA was known for popping.
Right.
You know, it was breakers out here, but it was known for pop locking. And just that sound, man, it just was like I was attracted to it, man. I was like a little kid, like 5-year-old, and, you know, to be a little kid and actually grow up with hip hop. And I tell my children this, it's different than someone now that grew up in the 90s or grew up that was born in the 90s and just, you know, they're going into hip hop now, but it's just different, man, because it's like when you were a kid, it's like, shit. It was like every song was like a brand new toy to us, man. Yeah. We heard Curtis Blow, it was like, you know, now I probably wouldn't listen to that like that now, but there's certain songs, he's a dope MC, but it's like, it's so much that I was in love with, man, like, especially when I was in high school in the 90s, man, like that whole 90s era, like 93, 94, Nas and Snoop and the Chronic album and all, and all that stuff was coming out, and it was just like, Pac was, you know, and Biggie was doing their thing. It just was, those were amazing times, man. Yeah, man. Amazing times, and I've always been
the golden era.
Exactly. And so I looked at it like, kind of like what I'm doing is almost, it's just, in a lot of ways, it's sort of like a janitorial service for hip hop, you know. So it's not like we're trying to clean hip hop up, but I'm providing a service that can help people further their lives and help them on their journey, whatever it may be.
That's interesting, man. So you say your kids get tired of hearing this story every time you tell them?
I'm sure they do. 'Cause I see their faces. They be like, oh, you know how your children, children do that. You know what I'm saying? But still to this day, I'm still in love with hip hop, man. I'm still in love with it, man. I still believe in it.
Yeah.
I still believe that it is the last voice of the voiceless. You know what I'm saying? And so I've always been high appreciation of my people getting down. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. So I love music in general, but I just love hip hop, man.
I'm the same way, brother. I mean, hip hop started where I'm from the Bronx.
From the
Bronx. What I'm saying? 1984, I believe.
Yeah.
And I was born '85. So I grew up right all along in the '90s era.
Because it was like the '70s when they was really like in the parks and all that stuff, man. You know what I'm saying? Kool Herc and all the real MCs on Sedgwick. You know what I'm saying?
Sedgwick. So I actually lived out like 2 blocks from Sedgwick. I lived on Burnside. I'm not sure if you're familiar with
it. Oh, yeah,
Bronx.
a little bit. Not really. I mean, when I go to New York, you know what I'm saying, I'll be in like Harlem usually or Manhattan most of the time. You know what I'm saying? But,
that's No, it's okay.
Yeah, but it is what it is. It's like, but it's like, I just always felt like there was a void that needed to be filled within hip hop. And so that's where I came in. You know what I'm saying? I didn't really... And it wasn't something like it was like, oh, it's just such a big deal. But it was like, to me, it was a big deal to give information to people that low-key have been left in the dark on purpose. You know what I'm saying? I'm going to keep it real with you. Like, it's not even sugarcoat the shit. Like, people in the hood have been left in the dark on purpose. They're not really given this information to uplift themselves and their people.
Right.
So I said, why not, use my platform to bring forth some information that may help men become men and women become women. And that's what we did. And that's when you start seeing me with Dame sitting on the couch. But I was doing stuff before Dame, which was Thinking Ball Out. And, here we are today.
Yeah, the whole the situation manifests for you, man. Right. So how did you link up with Dame? How was the introduction? How did you reach out to him and he got back to you? How did that?
No, I met Dame. Like I said, I was cutting a guy by the name of Walter Millsap, who was the guy who put out. They had a little singing group called Mindless Behavior, and this was way before Mindless. I don't even know if they were born yet. But Walter Millsap, I was cutting his hair. And Jay Brown, who was one of the heads over at Rock Nation today, him and Damon Dash were good friends at the time. I don't really know their situation now, but I know at the time they were like, Dame was the best man at his wedding. So I met Dame and the Rockefeller crew, Biggs and all them, including Kanye, through a guy named Jay Brown. And from there, I just always had like a tight connection to Dame because myself, my mother is very outspoken. I grew up with an alpha female. Right. And for people that understand what alpha males and females are, they're people that don't really make excuses for whatever's going on. They keep it real no matter what. Yeah. And so my mother was like that growing up. Like I had a mother that I couldn't tell her a teacher didn't like me, that's why I'm failing. She always went to the root cause of a situation, regardless of what's going on. You know what I'm saying? If they don't like you, make them like you.
Exactly.
Work harder.
Right.
Do what you're supposed to do.
You ain't doing enough.
Do what you're supposed to do. You know what I'm saying? So I couldn't go to my mom's crying about nothing and, oh, mom, I ain't had that kind of mother. And so Dame is one of those guys. He's that type of guy, too. He's real vocal on his opinion. So a lot of times, he'll say something and I'll be like, okay, I agree. You know what I'm saying? I don't agree with everything, but for the most part, I'll say about a good 75% of most of the things he says I agree with.
That's good.
But the only reason, like, sometimes you don't see me battling with him on camera is because of the work he's put in and what he's accomplished with what he had. Right. And so I want people that are watching to be able to absorb that information. Right. Look at his swagger, how he's saying it, what he's doing, and maybe it'll rub off on him. Right. You know what I'm saying? Because there's a lot of times, like, I sit there and I tell my ladies sometimes, I'll be like, I'm listening, but I'm like, I'm conscious of natural law. So, and I understand that all truths are but half truths. So you saying it, but that don't mean it's going to work for you. Right. That don't mean it's going to work for that person watching. Right. It happened for you, but it's not even because of the error. It's just everything works in accordance with the person that is delivering the message.
That's a fact.
Or delivering the thought. Or delivering the action. So, it's like I just felt like it was a need for people to hear this information because I seen him live it. Mm-hmm. See, for years before we even started recording, I saw this guy living it. So he was saying that he would live it. I said, damn, they need to see this.
Yeah.
You know, I'm one of those people that do that too.
Right.
If I say something, I feel like, man, it's like I have to take responsibility for whatever I say. So I can't even live with myself if I don't put forth the effort to do what I say I'm going to do.
Yeah, now I noticed that even with our interview scheduling today.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying?
I had to, figure it out, man. Like,
yeah, no, you had things going on. And I even said, I was like, if you can't make it,
because I'm definitely one of those people, man. I'm on my purpose. So, it was like last week it was a little tough because I had to, we doing things online through Shindig for the Culture Vultures book. But I also, I got my family, and then, but the main thing is I'm totally on my purpose.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like writing, I got other projects I'm doing.
Right. Yeah. No, that's awesome. I'm glad to hear that, man. So how did you guys come up with the Culture Vulture? Because just on the outside looking in, when I first caught wind of the actual word, it was more or less about record execs who weren't from the culture, basically taking advantage of those from the culture and, kind of just I don't want to say just taking advantage, but basically making money off something that they had nothing to do with. But I get that part. But as a businessman, if you see an opportunity like that, you don't have to be from the culture to do it. Like, for example, I mean, if somebody wants to sell crack or something like that, you don't have to be from where they sell crack to sell crack. You know what I'm saying? You just get you a pack and do what you got to do. Right, I mean, and essentially you're selling death, but still, you know what I'm saying? I mean, that's just smart business to me.
Yeah, it's a funny thing because like you said, you're selling death, but there's always going to be somebody to fill a void, no matter what it is, because under natural law, there's a law, like I said, called polarity, and it's always going to be that. You can't escape it. Somebody's going to fill that void. Someone's going to get that money.
Exactly.
Somebody's going to eat off of it. There's also going to be people that don't take advantage of the people that are weaker than them. You're always going to have molesters, but then you're also going to have people that don't molest.
Right.
So it's just the way the world is, man. And the first thing is just to understand the rules you live by and stick to that. And so the book Culture Vultures came from just Dan kept saying it. He kept saying Culture Vultures, Culture Vultures. And I was like, damn, that's crazy because the name of the book initially was Reasonable Clout. I named it Reasonable Clout because I felt like even without him being with the Rockefeller crew, he still had a certain amount of clout in the streets.
Right.
And people knew that he was the Phil Jackson to those championships.
Yeah. He put in work. Yeah, he put in work.
And one thing about it, Phil can still go coach right now, but Jordan might not really be able to get in the game right now with LeBron and them playing like that. You know what I'm saying? He's good, but I'm sure he can if he got in shape. But
the knees 60 years old.
It's like, just giving people plays to run, and then, they running those plays and they're accomplishing that chip. That means a lot, you know. So that Culture Vulture's name, he coined it connected to Lyor Cohen.
Right.
He coined it for Steve Stout. He coined it for Todd Moskowitz. If that's how you say it, Moskowitz, I think that's how you say it, and so on and so on. And as I was listening to his stories and his experience with these people, I felt it, you know what I'm saying? Because I've also experienced a Culture Vulture vibration within the hair industry. I had my own product line before Bump Assassin. Bump Assassin was a product, I don't know, for people that are in tune with what I'm doing. Bump Assassin was a product that I had among 18 other products. I had relaxers, grease, I had all types of different things. And I had a chemist out in San Diego, this guy named Willie Morrow, who invented the Jerry curl.
Wow.
And it was funny because he was telling me initially, like, the Koreans, they won't let you just put your products in their stores because they go connect with Revlon and all these other great people. But there were a few people that were actually for the independent market.
Right.
But for the most part, not really. Not really. And so by them not having love for the culture of black hair, they don't care about you trying to get in.
Right.
In the game.
They're just trying to make money.
They're just trying to make money.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And you really can't hate on it, but at the same time, this is something that falls among black people that's been falling among us forever. You know what I'm saying? You get people that they bottle what we have up, sell it to the masses, but don't really care about how you feel about what you selling to the masses, or they don't really have a love for it. They just have the love for the money.
I mean, I hear what you guys are saying. Shout out Dame Dash. I see where you guys are coming from. You know, on that, I can see how people can feel like that. But then a person like myself, if that happened to me, that would motivate me more to do it on my own on a bigger scale. You know, so instead of getting upset and lashing out, just do something about your situation to bring forth what it is that you would want ultimately.
And that's really what I've done, speaking for myself as well as Dame. What I did was I started selling the product out of my trunk, out of my shop. You know what I'm saying? And it was successful.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? I was flipping product for a long time. Still flipping Bump Assassin. You know, so that was my first experience with the whole Culture Vulture thing. You know what I'm saying? Before Dame even said it, before it was even a word in my vocabulary, that was my experience with people. There's someone that doesn't want you to know the game. They want to block you, and they don't want you to know the game, because if you know the game, you don't need to play with them. Right. You're going to create your own league if you don't play the game with them. Right. You can go anywhere and play the game all over the world, and they always want you to want them and need them.
Okay. So now that you guys have the book out, what is the goal? What is the purpose for this book? I know you want to spread the message, but what do you want people to realize and do about it?
Well, the book it was created from an independent heart and an independent mindset. And so for me writing, actually sitting and writing the book and taking what Dame said and chiseling it and making it sharper, is for people that are looking to go into their own purpose and do what it is they truly love. Because a lot of times we get caught up in jobs and we never go into what we love. You got people that work at FedEx that write songs. Yeah. You got people that work at McDonald's that sing like a mug. You already know. Yeah, There's so many people out here with different talents and different things. You got people that are working at Office Depot, but they love construction. They love engineering. Right. We're not saying that you can't go get a job. That's the first thing I want people to know. The job is for you to get money for, you gotta have ends meet. You gotta pay your bills, you gotta do whatever you have to do, but begin to make what it is you really desire to do a part-time job until you can make it a full-time lifestyle. Right. I like that. You know what I'm saying? So I believe in, like, if you are working at FedEx or you're working somewhere, when you get off, put those hours into whatever your passion is, whatever it is you desire, you know. And then what you're going to start seeing is as you proceed on your journey, things begin to get larger and larger. Just like everything in the universe starts small and gets large. There's nothing in the universe that just all of a sudden just, it's humongous. Yeah. Even the elephant, a baby elephant starts small. Right. So everything starts small and proceeds to get larger. So if you stick to it, though, and you don't abort the seed of your desire, because you got to remember, under those 7 principles, there is something called mental gender, which is the last law. The masculine feminine principle within ourselves is the conscious mind and the subconscious mind. The conscious mind is masculine. The subconscious mind is feminine. Whatever seed of thought you feed to the subconscious mind, it gives birth to.
I love it.
Whatever your seed of belief is, the conscious mind does not stand in the way. It believes it back for you, and then you get manifestation. Right. It's also connected to the law of cause and effect, which is right next to the law of mental gender. Cause and effect, you can't change things that are going on in your life within the effects. You have to create a new cause to bring forth new effects. Right. If you want to see different, you have to do different. Right. If you want something more, you have to become more to have more. Right. And so
brings me back to the definition of insanity, trying to
repeating something over and over again
and expecting a different
result.
Yeah, so
it's like a bad relationship. You know what I'm saying? And so understanding mental gender and how we feed ourselves on a constant basis, on a daily basis. It's just like with men, like I be trying to break it down for brothers. It's like when you're in a relationship, whatever you believe about yourself, your girl really always reflects it back. A woman is the power source in the universe. To a child, she is God on earth. God gave woman everything. They gave us some of it. as men.
Yeah.
We have the ability to have everything. God gave woman everything.
Right.
She can have the child.
Yeah.
She brings forth. She gives birth. We give life.
She has the power.
She has the power. Her power is like the moon. Even in mathematics, they tell you that the woman is symbolic to the moon. The moon is magnetic. It's powerful. The man is the sun.
Right.
The star is the seed. That's understanding. So it's knowledge, wisdom, understanding. So your knowledge of things, your conscious mind, puts forth the seed of belief and the seed of thought within the wisdom. And wisdom is action.
Right.
It's going to bring it forth.
Right.
It's going to give it to you. Whatever it is you desire, it's going to give it to you. You can have whatever it is you want right now through the faculties of imagination.
Right. That makes sense. So what are you going to do with, you have a lot of knowledge. You got the podcast out. You got the books out. What's next as far as in your mission to keep spreading this message for the ultimate goal?
Well, my ultimate goal right now is, because I love what we're doing. I like the fact that we are bringing forth information, but we're not blinding people with so much light. Because, slowly you have to give people this information. You have to give all people information, at the level they're at. Just different levels of information. It's just like if we started school, we started kindergarten, all of a sudden now we're seniors in high school.
Yeah.
That's not going to make sense to that because we didn't have the ability mentally to process being an adult or a pre-adult.
Right.
And also when we were seniors, we can't go back to the playground.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It's like it's going to cramp your style. So we're just giving people this. I'm giving people this information. Whoever needs this information and wants this information, I'm looking beyond money. Money is happening. The Culture Vulture's book is doing very well. As well as everything else.
Where's it at? They can get it at like Amazon.
It's on Amazon right now.
Amazon.
Yeah. So we self-published. We did it on Amazon, and because we had a few publishing houses that came at us, they came at Dame, trying to get him to sell the book to them, and they give us like, how they do $300,000, and you don't own the book anymore. Right. So Dame was like, well, you must not have read the book. I'm not gonna say the publishing house, but we turned them down. You know what I'm saying? And so it's interesting, man, because it's a process, but it's a process that I'm enjoying. I love it. Hip hop motivation is 100% me. I have my team of people that are behind me. They stand with me. Like I have people behind the camera handling business. It's actually two females, Michelle Gentle and Carolyn Gentle. And just we've been putting it down for the last 5 years, just putting this good information out there. And then actually, in the process doing the movie while we were doing those Dame videos. So
the Culture Vulture movie?
No, The Secret to Ballin'.
Oh, Secret
which
to
is
Ballin'.
a movie, yeah. The audio book is a soundtrack to the movie.
Okay.
But it's an audio book, but because you don't usually hear audiobooks being a soundtrack to a movie, but because the music from the audio book is in the movie.
I got an idea for you, but we're gonna keep it off the record because I don't want to go into editing.
Oh yeah.
So I'll just tell you when it comes.
No.
But I think I can help you take that Culture Vulture thing to another level.
Dope.
And with someone like Dame, I think he'll be on board for it. But yeah, I feel fuck it. We're gonna just say it on here. I have an idea for the Culture Vultures TV series, and I'm thinking each episode be a situation where culture vulturing takes place, and how to how basically displaying
how to trump any form of culture vulture situation. Basically, like if someone's not so-called allowing you to sell something within their store, whatever they're doing, taking it upon yourself and going into the market yourself.
Right.
That's really what the whole book is about, just true independence.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Yeah,
I just don't know whether for it to be like every episode to be a different situation or an ongoing story.
Yeah, that definitely makes sense. We've talked about some things similar. Dame, myself, like, because I'm always like full of ideas, man. That's all I do. I'm just like,
same.
Just
obviously.
like it's a lot of people, like minds connect, and it's just really, man, like right now what we're doing online, we're just giving people the opportunity to ask us questions, and and we get some questions like that. People that so-called got blocked and or got taken advantage of in one way or another, and they're coming to us and asking what should they do. And it always comes back to independence.
Yeah.
It always comes back to what can you do with what you have right now.
Hmm.
You know, it's not so much about what they didn't allow you to do, because you shouldn't be in a position where someone's allowing you to do anything.
Mm-hmm.
You always want to keep your independence. It's like selling your soul to get a couple of dollars. You don't want to be in that place where you're selling yourself or selling your soul for, you know what I'm saying, for a couple of dollars. You want to be in a place where you feel good about yourself because you kept your integrity.
Right.
Your integrity stayed in check.
Mm-hmm.
You didn't compromise yourself no matter what.
Mm-hmm.
You see a lot of people doing that just in Hollywood alone.
Right. Every day.
People that go a certain route sexually,
mm-hmm.
and they're not, you know, it goes against whatever their morals or standards were.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And
but they see those dollar signs and
you see people, you know, you hear the stories, man, and that's not what we preaching.
Right.
You know, that's not what Dame is preaching. It's for damn sure not what I'm preaching.
Right.
I'm teaching people just to hold their head, man, woman, and child, and really be true to yourself.
Right.
Be true to yourself. You know, that's the main thing. If you're true to yourself, you know, dreams become things of the past. You be looking like, damn, I actually accomplished that because I stayed true to myself. I stayed true to my beliefs.
Right.
And you're not letting anyone compromise your belief.
Right. No, and I think that's definitely what the idea for the show should represent. Mm-hmm. And I think if you do move forward with that, I'd love to help you write it. Absolutely. And also, it should start off with the music business, because on the outside looking in, the whole Culture Vulture started with throwing dirt on the music business. Culture Vulture.
Different people in the game, but it's funny because even while we were doing the book, there's been so many changes within the music business, the industry alone. You know, with the streaming and. You know, it was streaming going on when we started, but now it's like, you know, you don't really need to press up anything.
Right.
You know, you can have your own online following. No one know about you on the other side of the world, and you're over here making millions of dollars, and you're happy, and you're performing for the people that love you. Mm-hmm. It's a different game now. The playing field is more even now than it's ever been.
Yeah,
that's for it almost. In all industries, it's like that right now. Mm-hmm. You know, I've seen people come in the shop selling food out their house, but they had a clean product, good product, and they making money. It's just basically, man, whatever your belief is. If you believe in whatever it is you're doing, you're gonna attract people.
Right.
You're gonna attract whatever the greater good is within your mind. You're gonna attract it. It's inevitable. Because like I said, the conscious mind feeds the subconscious mind. There's sex going on all day, God. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? Within yourself. So whatever your belief is, that's a form of sex. That's DNA. That's the sperm. Mm-hmm. You giving the subconscious mind, you giving her that seed to germinate, to put together, and then it comes forth. Mm-hmm. But a lot of times what happens is people get impatient. They start like, damn, you know what I'm saying? Like, when is it going to happen? They become impatient. They get the timing it. Oh, shit, it's been 2 weeks and ain't nothing appeared yet.
Yeah.
What happens? Most people abort it. Mm-hmm. Real abortion is within.
Right.
You abort something, you get in the way. Like people tell you, get out of God's way.
Yeah.
Christians say, get out of God's way. You know what I'm saying? Stop trying to tamper with things. Leave it alone. Just understand that whatever it is you planted, it's going to come to fruition. It's going to sprout through the ground.
Yeah.
Some things take longer than others, and a lot of times, you might not be all the way ready for what it is you really desire. It takes time. Everything in the universe takes time.
Nah, I get that. You know what I'm saying? I'm super patient when it comes to anything I want to do. Mm-hmm. It's funny when you say, don't get in God's way. I feel like you can't get in God's way. You know what I'm saying? Like, you want to make God laugh, tell him your plans. You know what I'm saying? Like, there is...
And that's what I'm saying. Like, people say, like, it's like, don't get in God's way. But it's like, it's inevitable that, you know what I'm saying, you can... It's funny because you can abort the seed. You can mess up the flow of things by disbelief. Yeah. Not having faith.
That's true.
That's the whole form of getting in God's way. The Godhead is within you. Mm-hmm. You getting in the way of your conscious mind. Yeah. The mind is all, the all is mind. It takes you back to the first law. Right. Wait a minute. If the all is mine, the mind is all, my disbelief is getting in God's way. Who is God? Where is God? It's in the mind. Exactly. Not the brain. The brain is what houses the mind. nothing. The brain is how you move.
Yeah.
How we talk, how we do things.
Yeah.
The mind is connected to source. Just like these lights within here. The same source of energy it took to make these lights work is making the lights work out in the street.
Right.
Same source of energy.
Where do you see yourself in 5 years?
Myself in 5 years, great question. I just know that right now I'm going into the elements. I'm doing more speaking. I'll be doing a lot of speaking engagements, a lot more books, a lot more information that I will be giving to the people that need this information, and continuing to spread my love and my joy for what I'm doing, man. Just continuing to spread love and my joy for what I'm doing, you know, and just continuing to be a better person each and every day. Okay. You know, so my whole objective is to become better than I was last week, yesterday. So every day I take notes on how I can become better, how I can become a better father, a better lover, a better man, a better son, you know, a brother, etc., friend. And so I look at all these different things, and each day there's always something to work towards. You know, that's the way I look at it.
Well, I mean, no, it looks like obviously you're doing a great job. You know, you got the ball rolling, you got people working with you. Definitely it manifests your situation and everything you wanted to do going forward. So I commend you on that. That's awesome, man. You know, so how can people contact you to, well, do you even accept submissions from people who are aspiring writers or, you know, want to connect with you and build other future projects, or are you just focused on what you're doing right now?
Well, right now we've been more focused on what we're doing, but I definitely connect with people like on Instagram and, you know, when I see them in the streets, you know what I'm saying, I always got something. If someone's asked me for some form of advice or help in that way, I'm always open to give that, you know, but I can only give people what I've learned from myself and my own journey, which is to stay true to yourself. You know, I don't really believe in moving based on what someone else is doing. I believe in staying true to my own heart, because the heart is where the ultimate power is. You know, you have your brain, you have your mind power, and you also have the heart is also an intelligence. The heart is the feeling, you know, and the feeling always gets the blessing.
That's a fact. How do you feel about our president?
Donald Trump. It's shit. I feel the same way about Donald Trump I felt about all presidents, man. I just feel like, you know, keeping it real with you, it's a bunch of wolf tickets. You know, it's a fake power that they have forced upon people for many years. I have a grandmother that's 101 years old as of 2 weeks ago, and I asked my grandmother who the president was when she was a little girl, and how does she feel about this president? How could she really feel about all of them? It's the same feeling she had then, the same feeling she had now. You have people that are put in place and put in those positions to further oppress people, to further fool people. It's wolf tickets, man.
So you don't vote?
I have. You know, I definitely have, and I definitely have had political conversations within the barbershop, but political conversations is like,
it's never ending.
It's like going back and forth with somebody over religion. You know what I'm saying? Like religion.
Two
you know,
things I don't argue.
like with me, you know what I'm saying? Like I tell people all the time, you know, religion is like gangbanging. You know, because you're a Christian, I'm a Muslim, we're from different hoods, so we shouldn't be able to connect, which is ridiculous. Right. That's why I tell people to go above all this bullshit. And I ain't calling religion bullshit. I'm talking about that whole bullshit of disassociating yourself with someone because of what they do, and going to natural law. Right. See, even when you go into natural law, even with someone that may have had a certain thing with gay people, you will understand also. You'll stop having that hate or that disagreement with someone because of what they believe in or what they do. Right. You're not going. Once you understand natural law, that falls away. You're like, oh. Well, you know what I'm saying? Because at the same time, the gay person is both masculine and feminine. Yeah. Nothing in the known universe works without the principle of masculine and feminine. It's just what you choose to do with what you have. Right. And that's on you. Right. You know what I'm saying? People that talk about all that stuff, man. Like the gangbanger. You so mad at them, but you know, everyone reaches their levels at different times. Yeah. Some people stay in the dark forever. Some people go into the light, some people stay in the dark. Some people are on the journey coming out of the dark. So, you know, we all here, man, just, you know, we all have our own mission. We're going to either be the example of what to do or the example of what not to do. And that's all of us.
Nah, it's a fact, bro. So you're originally from LA, right?
Yeah, I'm from LA, but I grew up. I grew up in North Carolina. I was in Tennessee, and once upon a time in Cleveland, Ohio. When I was in California, I was out here, Long Beach, San Bernardino. I moved around a lot as a kid. You know what I'm saying? So, which at the time I didn't really understand the whole element of moving around. But now that I get the fact that it was for me to just be in different elements and see that there's different types of people all over the world that have the same passion and the same desires. Different fields of desire, but the same thing. Everybody wants to win in their own way.
Gotcha.
Everybody.
So do you think that was the reason that, the gang culture didn't really influence you, and kind of kept you in the right path, or, when
I was young, you know what I'm saying, I grew up in the 60s, in that area. I never joined 60s, but I think it had a lot to do with it. I mean, I could have went that same route too, like a lot of brothers, but it had a lot to do with my family. Like I said, my mother, my father, my aunts. I have aunties that were school teachers. So in the summertime, we weren't just sitting around, sitting in the neighborhood. They were always active with us and taking us to different places. And because of that element of going so many different places and experiencing so many different things, we weren't just sitting around. Because, you let a kid sit long enough, the idle mind takes over. As they say, the idle mind is the devil's workshop. And a lot of that stuff, that's where that comes from. Not having anything to do, not having any, plans for the summer. You just sitting around, and then you start doing dumb stuff, and next thing you know, you're in the trap. You're in the trap. Some people join gangs for protection, to be a part of something, because everybody in the world wants to feel like they're a part of something. So if you use that element and you put that into a family atmosphere and you say, hey, come join us, you're going to get a lot of people joining in, because there are a lot of people that don't even have families. A lot of people that are not close to their mother. They're not getting talked to by their fathers or their uncles.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? A lot of people going through hard times. And so you get these people that just want love, man, and just want to feel like they're a part of something.
I agree, man. I agree.
And so how do you change that? It's through education. It's through further knowledge of self. Self-knowledge is the number one thing that will trump all of that. And the one thing that you want to study and begin to study, again, is natural law and apply it to yourself. Everything you study under the form of natural law, apply it to yourself. When you understand the law of rhythm, like I said about Jesus walking on water, then you start going, like, you take an element as you focus and visualize a park. When you're pushing a kid on a swing, as hard as you push forward is as hard as it always comes back.
Exactly.
So that would be the process of ups and downs. Put yourself on top of the bar and look at both the ups and downs as one and the same. Don't get too excited when it's down. Don't get too excited when it's low. Just understand when it's down, it's going to come up.
Right.
It's always darkest before the dawn.
Right. I agree.
You don't have to. You're not going to stay there, because the pendulum swing is active in everything. The pendulum swing is active in everything. They tell you that in Ecclesiastes, that scripture where it talks about to everything there's a season.
Yeah.
Once upon a time, we were 5-year-olds.
Right.
A lot of our elders, once upon a time, they didn't look the way they look now. To everything there's a season.
Right.
So if you're broke now, that doesn't mean you're going to stay broke.
Right.
Because you have money now doesn't always mean you're going to have it later on. Just understand that there's always going to be a balance and ebb and flow to life.
Yeah.
What they call trials and tribulations.
Right.
Things will tribulate.
Wow, man. I'm not gonna lie, man. I didn't expect this interview to go this way. It went very deep, know, and I'm glad you sharing this information, and you're kind of helping me to put a lot of things in perspective, and I love that. You know what I'm saying?
I mean, like I said, man, you just you call me, I felt the energy, and I said, shit, man. I take interviews too, because a lot of times, people don't get to hear my belief and what I feel next to Dame. Because, it's not that I allow Dame to talk. Dame gonna talk regardless, but it was mainly for people to be drawn into the information that we're giving them. Because, no slight to Dame, but Dame's information is surface. It's how to build this couch.
Right.
But we're talking about what's the inner faculties. What's the inside game?
Right.
That makes this what it is.
Right. That's exactly what people need to know,
Right, but like I said, too much light will blind you, as they tell you in masonry. You have to slowly go up. You don't just go from the dark into the light so fast you can go blind quick, and it can actually confuse you more than anything else because you're like, damn, I don't understand, I don't get it. It's slow, steps.
Yeah.
It's steps to elevation.
Levels,
it's levels to elevation, man. And you don't, and so that's why I take a lot of people that are doing their own independent thing with, doing podcasts, whatever they're doing. They hit me up usually, I usually game, not all the time, but most of the time, because they don't get a chance to hear me speak, and they don't know the real story of how everything happened, like the coming up with the name Hip Hop Motivation, and then leaving the shop to go cut Method Man, but not making it to him and getting shot.
Yeah.
Like damn it, like I'm laying here like damn it, like this just happened.
Does Method Man know that?
Oh yeah, definitely. Hell yeah. Does he?
Oh wow.
He was waiting on me. He was looking like, damn, what Kingyatta at? Yeah, he knows. He definitely knows the story.
Wow, man.
He can tell it from his perspective. I actually was like, yo, what was you thinking? He was like, yo, I didn't know what was going on.
Wow.
And then he found out that I got shot. Yeah.
Damn, was that an accident?
Well, for me, I didn't have any problems in the area over here where I was staying at. I never gangbanged on that, on no level. I wasn't into punking nobody. I just was a man running a barbershop, doing my thing. But things happen for a reason. It happened on purpose. I asked for all of this, but was I willing to take the responsibility to do it?
Right.
So before I got shot, I don't know so much if I would have put everything on that bet. I wouldn't have betted on it all the way.
Yeah.
But after that happened, it was all in. Because then I began to understand, well,
tomorrow's not promised.
Tomorrow's not promised, and if I don't move on what it is I truly love and desire, fully moving on my purpose, I'm never ever going to really be happy. Because I was happy making money at the shop, but I wasn't happy with what I was doing, how I was doing it. Cutting hair is just something I've been gifted with.
Right.
The talent of cuts. You know what I'm saying? But that's not my desire.
Right.
And my desire is what I'm doing now. And this is the happiest I've ever been in my life because I'm doing what it is. I'm doing my purpose. I'm after my purpose. Right. My relationships are better because I'm focused on my purpose. You see what I'm saying? And that's really, to all the brothers out there listening and watching, understand, when you get focused on your purpose, things begin to fall in line, especially within your relationship with a woman. Understand that.
Yeah. See,
because when she doesn't see you focused on your purpose, she can't really respect that.
Yeah.
Because then you
turn off.
Yeah, it's a turn off, man. You know what I'm saying? It's a turn off. You have to be on your purpose. To where even going out on a date with her means you're pulling me away from my purpose. So you must be important for me to even go out with you.
Right. That's a fact.
And you want them to know this.
Yeah.
I'm focused on what I'm doing.
I love it, dog. I love it, man. Thank you for coming through today.
Anytime, brother. Anytime, man.
Words.
You hit me up, man. You know what I'm saying? And just keep doing what you're doing, man. Like, stay focused, and you're doing your thing. You're acting, and it's beautiful because you actually have a passion for this, and I can tell. You know what I'm saying? Because I saw some of your other footage, and just keep that passion going, man, and love it. If you don't love it, stop doing it.
Nah, man, I love it. Like, I drove it. It took 5 days all the way from Florida to get here.
Man.
Just to chase this goal, man. It's like, what's crazy? It's like, I thought about quitting several times, bro. Even when I was, because you said the story about people that worked at KFC, but they could sing. I did sales for 10 years, and I'm doing what I want to do now. But it's like, what you said to me that people should do, I was doing it, but not conscious of it. I was looking at it on the whole other way. I was like, yo, I'm working full time, but my dreams are part time. And although you're saying that's what you need to do, I was looking at it mad because I didn't want it to be like that. And
initially, while you have things going on, because we all create slavery for ourselves through our bills. I got my son; he's in his 20s now, and I tell him, man, just be cautious of the bills you're producing, because slavery is no longer on the plantation. It's in prison, but it's through your bills and through the things that are binding you and holding you back and holding you down. You have to make sure that you take care of those things. You don't want to jack your credit up, you know what I'm saying? And you want to, be able to, get a house or get some things that you need. Everything's based on credit.
It's your second name.
You know what I'm saying? It's as far as like, when you're going out here to purchase a house, a car, whatever you want to do.
Mm-hmm.
But the main thing is just staying focused on your purpose, man. I'm telling you, man, don't even make no, look, I'm going to fall back on this type of thing, situation for yourself. Go all in, man, and just do it. But it's best to do it from the gate. You know what I'm saying? All the youngsters listening, just fully go into your purpose. Don't get caught up on that slavery, man, because you start getting these car notes and these apartment bills. Mm-hmm. Stay at home with mama as long as you can.
Hey.
Shit, stack your chips. Do what you got to do. Let them, you know what I'm saying, and parents stop kicking your kids out of the house so soon.
I know, right?
That's another thing, you know what I'm saying? If you got, your elders, stop kicking these kids out into the street so soon. A lot of our families, man, they be like, oh, man, hurry and get out here so I don't have to take care of you no more. But, just continue to help them and support them so they can follow their purpose.
Right, exactly. And guide them to their purpose, man.
Help them as much as they can. If, as long as the person's open to the help, help them. But, sometimes people are not open to the help.
Yeah, like they say,
fall on your ass a couple times sometimes and really get it,
Yeah, you only can lead the horse to the water, can't make him drink.
Exactly.
It's been another episode of Sleep is for Billionaires, the podcast. I keep getting my own name wrong. There's been another episode of Sleep is for Billionaires, the podcast, hosted by your man Johnny Vegas. Got my man Kingyatta Griggs up in here. Make sure you go cop that book, Culture Vultures. Look at the, what's the name of the podcast?
The Secret of Balling is the movie, but the podcast, go to Shindig and check us out for the Culture Vultures talk every Wednesday.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? From 5 to 6 every Wednesday, that specific standard time. And bring your questions, man. Like every week we're building with the people and just answering a few questions, connecting with people.
That's good,
giving
man.
Them some good information.
Yeah, I see you preaching, man. I see
it.
Like that's why I was asking. Like, when you gonna see yourself in 5 years? I thought you was gonna say.
That was initially my goal
initially.
That was initially my goal at first, but I wouldn't be the typical preacher because I couldn't lie to the people. I would have to give them the real knowledge and information.
Well, I don't mean like in a church, but a platform of the sort, like in an auditorium and doing tours for the book.
Yeah, that's what we're doing now. We're preparing for that right now.
Okay.
Yeah, definitely. But as far as but initially I was going to theology school.
Okay.
So I was looking into doing that, but then as I started studying, I was like, oh, this is what it is. They actually are not giving the people the true knowledge and the true information. You know what I'm saying? They don't understand that the devil is a polarity of ourselves. The darkness is a polarity to light. So, as dark as you can go, as light as you can go, as light as you can go, as dark as you can go.
Yeah.
So you have to understand polarity, the law of polarity. Just get natural law principles, man. Study natural law principles.
And there you have it, man. Make sure you check out Sleep is for Billionaires, the podcast, Culture Vulture book, Secret to Balling, all the book.
Yeah.
And it's out there, man. Thank you for watching. Stay tuned for more episodes to come.
Peace.